You don't actually want her. You want what you think she'll give you. Validation, meaning, redemption, a reason to wake up tomorrow. But here's the problem. You've made a god out of love, and a savior out of a woman who never agreed to save you. He who has a why to live can bear almost any how. Nietzsche. What happens when your why is her? What happens when the only thing anchoring you to this earth is the hope that one day she'll choose you back? Modern men don't believe in God anymore. They don't trust the state. They don't believe in family, brotherhood, or even themselves. So they've placed their final hope in the one thing they think won't fail them: romantic love. It sounds poetic. It sounds noble. It even sounds human. But Nietzsche called it what it really is: a false idol. A beautiful lie that destroys the man who believes it. And that's why you feel like you're dying. Not because she left, but because your entire reason for being went with her. You didn't just lose a girl, you lost your religion. You're not in pain because of love. You're in pain because of worship. You gave yourself completely to someone who wasn't meant to carry your soul. And when she walked away, she didn't just break your heart. She broke your worldview. In this video, I'll show you how the romantic lie was built. Nietzsche saw it coming, because until you destroy the lie, it will keep destroying you. It didn't start with you. This lie, the one that says, "She will complete me," has been whispered into the ears of men for centuries. From Greek poets to modern pop songs, from Disney princes to Instagram reels, you've been taught that love is the answer, that if you can just find her, the chaos will make sense, the loneliness will end, and you'll finally feel enough. The romantic lie didn't arise from love itself. It came from a vacuum of meaning. Nietzsche warned us, God is dead, and we have killed him. What he meant wasn't that God physically died, but that the foundations of belief, order, and identity had been shattered by modernity. So what did men do? They replaced the sacred with the sensual. They turned romance into religion. They made women the new altars and placed their souls on them. Look around. Movies don't tell you to become powerful. They tell you to be chosen, be sensitive, be soft, be the guy who finally gets noticed. It's not heroic masculinity. It's emotional dependency wrapped in poetic lighting. And it gets worse, because the romantic lie doesn't just promise you a woman. It promises you transcendence through her. You make me whole. You're my better half. Without you, I'm nothing. You've heard the lines. You've probably believed them. But here's the truth. Any belief that makes a woman your savior will turn you into her slave. And most men are already shackled, not by lust, not even by love, but by the fantasy that this woman will finally end the ache. Nietzsche saw it with brutal clarity. When men lose their gods, they don't become free. They become desperate. Desperate for something, anything, to give life back its meaning. And in that desperation, they kneel at the feet of the feminine and call it enlightenment. Nietzsche didn't believe in salvation, not from heaven, not from women, not even from truth. He believed in becoming, in breaking yourself down and forging a new man in fire. He called this the Übermensch, the overman, the one who creates his own values, builds his own meaning, and stands alone without apology. Not a slave to religion, not a puppet of culture, and definitely not a boy begging to be loved. Now compare that to the modern nice guy. Not nice as in kind, nice as in neutered. He suppresses his desires. He performs emotional labor. He gives and gives and gives in the hope that someday she'll pick him. This man doesn't live from strength. He lives from approval. Nietzsche warned of this decay. He called it the rise of the last man, the comfortable, obedient, passionless shell of a man who would rather be safe than dangerous. What is noble? That one instills strength into men's souls. The romantic lie has turned men into the opposite. Not noble, not strong, just useful, polite, palatable, predictable. The kind of man who tries to earn love by shrinking himself into something she'll tolerate. And here's the twist. The nice guy thinks he's moral. He thinks he's evolved, but he's just hiding his hunger behind a smile. He wants what every man wants, to be desired, to be respected, to feel like he matters. But instead of becoming that man, he waits, he hopes, he simps. And all the while, he tells himself, if I'm just nice enough, patient enough, soft enough, she'll see my worth. But here's Nietzsche's message. You don't find worth, you create it. The Übermensch doesn't wait to be chosen. He chooses himself. He doesn't ask, will she love me? He asks, am I becoming someone worth loving, even if no one ever does? Because real power doesn't beg for attention. It radiates presence. Let's get honest. You didn't start chasing women because you loved them. You started chasing because something in you was missing, and no one ever taught you what it was. That ache you feel, that desperate longing for her to say, you're enough, you matter, you're seen. It didn't begin with romance. It began in childhood. Most men never got the emotional foundation they needed. Maybe your mother was there, but emotionally distant. Maybe your father wasn't there at all. Maybe you were the quiet one, the overlooked one, the one who learned early on that being wanted wasn't guaranteed. So what did you do? You built a fantasy of the woman who would finally see you, finally choose you, finally fill the void that nothing else ever could. But here's the brutal truth. You're not in love with her. You're in love with your projection of her. She's not the source of your wholeness. She's just a mirror, reflecting the part of yourself you've never been able to hold. The tenderness you crave in her arms is the compassion you were never given. The desire to be rescued is the boy inside you still waiting for someone to come back. This is why the romantic lie feels so powerful. It's not logical. It's emotional archaeology. You're not chasing her. You're chasing the moment where you no longer feel like a ghost in your own story. But no woman, no matter how kind, loving, or devoted, can rescue a man from a childhood he hasn't faced. Nietzsche said, man is a rope stretched between the animal and the Übermensch. But most men never make it across because the wounds of the child keep showing up in the desires of the adult. You think it's love. It's not. It's unresolved longing disguised as romance. And until you face it, you'll keep trying to turn women into mothers, therapists, gods. But they didn't sign up for that. And eventually, they'll walk away. Not because you're unlovable, but because you asked them to carry pain that isn't theirs. But here's the unspoken reality. Women don't save men. They never have. They were never meant to. That idea that she'll come along and lift you out of your despair, heal your heart, and give you your purpose back, it's not just unrealistic, it's anti-biological. In nature, the female selects. She doesn't redeem. She doesn't initiate rescue missions for broken males. She chooses from those who already stand tall, those who radiate value without asking for it. That's evolutionary psychology 101. Even in our hyper-modern world, where love songs preach about saving each other, the ancient code still holds. The woman is the reward, not the redeemer. And yet, you keep making her your savior. You text her with trembling hope. You spiral when she doesn't reply. You put your entire emotional stability in her hands. Like a child holding out a cracked bowl, begging to be filled. But here's what you have to understand. No woman can carry the burden of your unlived life. No woman can replace the throne you abandoned in yourself. When Nietzsche talked about the death of God, he wasn't saying we were doomed. He was warning us. When the old gods fall, new idols rise, and romance has become one of them. You don't love her, you worship her, and she can feel it. That weight, that desperation, that unspoken plea. Please make me whole. But here's the thing. She didn't fall in love with your longing. She fell in love, if at all, with your light, your presence, your aliveness, not your ache. She can nurture you, comfort you, love you, but she cannot make you a man. That's not her job. That was never her job. And deep down, you know that. So when she leaves, or loses attraction, you think it's because you weren't enough. But more often, it's because you made her your only source. And no one wants to be someone else's god. Not even the woman you die for. The romantic lie doesn't just disappoint you. It deforms you. Slowly, quietly, like rust under paint. Because every day you believe a woman will complete you. You become a little less complete yourself. You stop building. You start waiting. Waiting for her text. Waiting for her to notice. Waiting for your life to begin. Once she finally arrives, that's not love. That's spiritual paralysis. You convince yourself you're being romantic, that you're just in touch with your feelings, that wanting her so badly means it's real. But it's not real. It's dependency dressed in poetry. Here's what Nietzsche understood. When you live for someone else to give you worth, you've already surrendered your strength. You become soft, passive, emotionally fragile. A man who isn't building something greater than himself will always seek refuge in someone smaller than himself. And love, real love, can't grow in the soil of self-abandonment. This is how the lie weakens you. It makes your happiness conditional. It makes your identity external. It makes your pain someone else's responsibility. And worst of all, it turns your masculine energy inward, not in reflection, but in repression. You censor your desires. You tone yourself down. You try to become good enough to be chosen. But the more you betray your power, the more invisible you become. You think simping is harmless. It's not. It's a philosophy, a worldview, one that tells you, I'm not enough as I am. I must be chosen to matter. But Nietzsche would ask you, what if the value of your life came not from being chosen, but from choosing yourself? Because here's the irony. Most women aren't repelled by your feelings. They're repelled by the lack of foundation beneath them. She doesn't want to be your everything. She wants to join your everything. But if you are nothing without her, you give her no place to rest, only a hole to fall into. If the romantic lie is the disease, Nietzsche's cure is brutal, but liberating. Amor fati, love your fate, not tolerate it, not survive it, but love it, every brutal, aching, humiliating second of it. That heartbreak, that rejection, that crushing silence after she left. Nietzsche says, don't run from it. Don't numb it. Don't try to replace it with another woman. Stand in the fire. Let it burn away every illusion you built your worth on. Because once the lie is gone, you can finally become someone real. The man who practices amor fati doesn't beg for love. He builds a life so rooted in purpose. That love becomes a byproduct, not a lifeline. He stops asking, why did this happen to me? And starts asking, what is this making of me? He doesn't collapse into despair. He uses pain as fuel. This is the birth of what Nietzsche called the Übermensch. Not a macho fantasy, not an emotionless alpha, but a man who says, I will take everything life throws at me, the joy, the suffering, the betrayal, and make something holy out of it. That's real power, not control over women, not emotional detachment, but internal sovereignty. And here's the part that modern culture doesn't want you to hear. A man who doesn't need to be saved is the only kind of man truly worthy of love, not because he hides his pain, but because he doesn't weaponize it. Not because he's invulnerable, but because his identity doesn't depend on being wanted. To become this man, you have to let go of the fantasy. Let go of the story that says, someone out there will fill the void. They won't. You will. Through your craft, through your discipline, through your refusal to let heartbreak be the end of your story. And here's the paradox. The moment you stop chasing love and start becoming someone unshakably grounded in himself, that's when love actually finds you. But by then, you won't need it to survive. You'll want it, but you'll be free without it. And that's what makes you dangerous. You were never meant to chase completion in someone else. You were meant to become. Not someone she wants, not someone society approves of, but someone you can respect in the dark, when no one is clapping, texting, or loving you back. The lie told you she would fix the ache, but here's the truth. She was never the medicine. She was just the mirror, and that void inside you, It was never hers to fill. You don't need to be chosen to be whole. You don't need to be loved to matter. And you don't need to be seen to become dangerous. Real power doesn't come from being desired. It comes from living as if your soul is already on fire. Whether anyone notices or not, let others chase the fantasy. Let them beg to be picked. You build. You become. You carry your pain like a blade, not a burden. You are no longer the boy looking for a goddess. You are the man who found his God within. I want to learn more and more to see as beautiful what is necessary in things. Then I shall be one of those who make things beautiful. Nietzsche, amor fati. This is your fate. This is your fire. Love will find you. But by then, you'll be far too whole to ever mistake it for salvation.